G'day guys, just going to show you what we've done with our bed lift system here. It's been really good, and this final method that we've come up with has pretty much served its purpose as well as we've wanted. So the essence of it is we've got a, this is a wiper motor. We got it from Motion Dynamics, which is in Sydney, and they supply pretty much anything you'd want in terms of linear actuators, worm drive motors and geared motors and all that stuff. So we've got that up here. We've mounted it onto a 3mm metal plate, and I've just sort of cut this out to suit. I've also tried to make this as removable as possible in case we do have a failure. So we've mounted that on that 3mm plate, and I've just welded a brace out here to hold onto the gear system that I've got, and then it also just holds the actual drive motor in nicely. And then it's on a 12.5mm solid metal bar, and then that runs both full length of the bed, top to tail, into two bearings at the end here. They are very expensive, and I wish I did that differently, but that's all right. So if you do decide to do something similar to this, maybe just try and find a bearing and then find your tube size. It then runs into this belt system. So basically what we've done is we've run a belt to a roof, and then it comes in and then wraps around the bar. And then I've just located it onto the bar by cutting a bit of aluminium tube in half, and then using that as a locker, and then bolting that through the tube so that it sandwiches the bits of fabric together and holds it nice and tight. So when it starts wrapping around the bar, it gives it a couple of winds, and then it starts to take up the pressure, and the pressure is more on the bar than it is that actual holding method. Basically just got 12-volt supply coming in here. I do have a little isolator so I can kill the power to this as well. I haven't needed it, but it sort of was just a precaution. I wasn't too sure. So for the electrics, yeah, we've got the Ando running up there, so I can disconnect this lead if I really need to, and take the power off, use it somewhere else, whatever. That's just running through into this isolator, and then I have also got a 12-volt winch isolator in here as well. So that is a I think it's a 4,000 watt isolator. It is way overkill, and I probably could have done it straight off the switch, but I thought bigger is better. So yeah, that leads on to our switch, which is this one here. And that is basically just an up down, and it's also got a red and green light. I'll just bring that down so you can see it. Cool, so this is our switch. So when it's activated, you'll see that the light engages. So red going down and green going up. Nice and easy to reverse the polarity if you do get it wrong. Just two little tabs and swap them around, it's easy as. So I don't have a shut-off method for it because it doesn't quite lift as evenly as I'd like. So this side generally wants to lift first, and then this side wants to lift last. So it sort of unevenly winds up, but when it gets to the roof, it actually evens up a lot. So I've sort of just left it as is, and you just wait until you can sort of hear the motor complain a little bit, and that's when we shut it off. So that's been pretty good. And it's also been nice having the power up here, because I've been able to run a light under here as well, which is really handy because it's quite directional. The power's already there and all that. I don't know if in the future I might upgrade the power and run it in like a cable chain in the back corner so it's a bit less visible. But for the moment, just with the time I had to make this, I sort of made do with that. I'll wind it down so you can see it, and then I'll show you what I've done up the top. So up in the corner here, you can see how we've connected this up. We've basically got an S-hook off a ratchet strap going into a little D-shackle, and then hooking onto the actual ratchet strap itself. So I've just gone ahead and taken a ratchet strap, pretty much cracked it in half by removing these little clips. You can pull everything apart and take off the other section. And yeah, basically this allows us to adjust the sides up and down. gives us our correct tension so that we can have the bed lift level or end level either way. And behind that, we've also just got a retaining chain just so it holds the bed in position when it's up, just for a bit of safety, just so that if the motor decides to let go, it doesn't actually take us with it. So for the guide rail, I've put these little runner wheels on it. They screw in to adjust, just because I wasn't sure how square it was going to be inside here, and basically just run a little channel that the wheel fits into down the entire length of the wall there. And that's worked out pretty well. I did have to countersink these screws just so that they fit a little bit nicer with the wheel running over them, but that's been pretty good. And obviously one on each corner of the bed frame.